So from this point in Unity, I'm going to add in some additional geometry to my scene to make the terrain look a little more readable, a little more realistic. So to do that, what I'm going to do first is we're going to add in grass. It's called a grass billboard actually. It's 2D geometry that's sticking up that has a grass map on it. I'm going to do that by clicking Edit Details, Add Grass Texture, and it's right here from this Place Plants, Stones, and Other Small Foliage button. Underneath Detail Texture, I'm going to click the button and select Grass 2. These two colors are a little too obnoxious for me, so I'm going to sort of downgrade both of the tonality on the green and the yellow. I'm going to change it more to a brown and say OK and Add. And then I can select my brush size. I want to pick more of a random pattern brush, something like that. I'm going to greatly drop the opacity because I don't want the grass to be placed in too dense because this is geometry. And I'm going to start placing the grass along the scene. Now if you notice, it's only showing when I zoom in, and that's a setting that we can fix in how Unity is reading draw distance. We can talk a little bit more about that in class later. But I'm going to go ahead and get some grass placed here and get it at sort of a decent kind of density. The next thing I'm going to do is add in some trees to this location. So I'm going to click Place Trees, Edit, Add Trees. The only tree that I have loaded up in my project right now is a palm tree right here. There's my palm tree. And I'm going to click Add. And I only have one brush type for adding trees, but I can select size and a density. So I'm going to decrease the density for this first one. I'm going to increase color variation, height variation, and width variation. Just place a couple of trees right along here. Now if I want to place a tree in a very exact location, which is really common for an architectural site, I can increase or decrease the brush size and increase the brush density, and I get a single point, and it will place a tree at that exact location that I'm clicking. And if you'll also notice, it's going to place those on the terrain no matter what point. It's actually reading that 3D geometry as a location to place the tree on. So next I'm going to add in a light by going Game Object, Create Other, Directional Light. So the last two things I'm going to do is add a directional light, a skybox, three things actually, skybox, and a first-person controller. So I'm going to do that light first. I'm going to go to Game Object, Create Other, Directional Light. I'm just going to point that down and add an angle. Then I'm going to go in next and I'm going to go to Edit, Render Settings, and right here under Skybox, I'm going to choose a really basic sunny sky. And then I'm going to add a first-person controller to my scene. I'm just left-clicking, dragging, and dropping a camera right into my scene. And I'm going to zoom in on that camera really close. This little pill right here, I want to make sure that that is located above my terrain. The pill shape is actually my collision detector, and it's going to notice this terrain as something to sort of walk on top of. So now as soon as I hit play, it should snap me to that first person perspective. I can see that I am now in my scene, ready to walk around.